intro and then official start?
Yep.
I'm ready.
Here we go.
I've never heard that, but that's the origin of cap. I'm going to look this up. I'm going to look.
Right.
We have to follow.
Yeah.
We have to have.
Be true to yourself. You don't have.
And when I came back, the place was a mess. So I knew I was missed.
Deep in here now.
It's incredible.
I love it.
Me
That's
too.
good.
Yeah.
That's good.
And applying the recovery out there.
Well, good evening, good afternoon, everybody out here that tunes in. We got Olaf here. Olaf is going to start hosting a lot of these podcasts now, so you got that to look forward to. Everybody out there tuning in, and if you're in prison watching this, Olaf has been to prison, so he can relate to your story.
Yep.
And also he's been to college and been abroad and done a lot of things, so he's got a wide range of information he can give. So he's gonna be hosting these. We just made that official. Now you agreed to that too, right?
I guess so.
I mean, you're good. You'd be a good host.
It's a binding agreement if it's recorded.
It's written right here.
Yep,
Yeah.
Written into the edited version.
So make sure it goes into the edited version. Then.
Well,
And then we got our special guest, man, my main man, Anthony
Adams.
Okay, chuck the deuces, throw the deuces
Yeah.
up. Oh, my boy Anthony. Anthony, you doing real big things, man. Like, can't nobody say that you don't have perseverance. Like when I see you, man, that's the one thing I see is perseverance, man.
Fighter.
Yeah, man, fighter.
In
right?
the trenches.
Trenches.
A
man.
gap stuffer.
Right.
A-gap. I don't know if he knows what
A-gap
A-gap is. You know what A-gap stuffer means?
No, I don't.
That's a football.
I'm too young for that.
No, that's football terminology right there. That's football. Like you a big D tackle stuffing the A gap. That's what the D tackles do. But you definitely have, man. You have persevered, man. Courage, man. Grinded it out, man. Remember those communities we were doing here for a little while when they was just lighting you up?
Oh yeah, I definitely remember those.
Anthony used to come to all those house leader training meetings for like almost a year and a half.
Was he even a house leader?
No, he was never a house leader or an assistant, but he never missed a house leader training for almost a year and a half.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's persistence right there.
Yeah.
That's manifesting what you want, honestly. And that's a good lesson we could all sort of use. Who's probably helped him along the way with that is his sponsor. Who is your sponsor, Anthony?
John Schinholzer.
Oh, the legend. Okay. Yep. Big Daddy John. All right.
Shout out to Big Daddy John.
There you
That's
go.
right. Shout him out.
Nice.
Before it was Big John, it was
Olaf.
Okay.
Wow.
You had like
that was an unofficial sort of sponsorship thing.
Yeah.
But you had two, like you had one like that's actually like there's no knock to John if you're listening, John. That's like
he always listens. He's got the plaque for the 2020. He's always making sure this thing is living up.
He's gonna check it out.
Yeah.
If you can tag him, he's gonna check it out. Steve, tag him.
I will.
You got Olaf over here who went off to college and got the degree, and then he's got the book smarts, and street smarts. But then you got John over here. I don't think John went to college, but John knows just about everything. So.
Well, Jesse, you called us into your office early on in that sort of stage, we'll call it, because you didn't think that maybe that was the best choice, which I think that's what led our sponsorship to sort of break apart.
Are you talking about when? Oh, yeah.
Conflict.
Conflict, which, I think it was very good advice because, Anthony has been known to, how do I put this, lend or take a lot of someone's ear, right?
Well, back in the day, at least.
Well, you don't do that now. Still, I still talk to my sponsor on a I'll say daily, but at least every other day, every couple of days, weekly basis.
I mean, I still talk. I mean, of course, I do call and talk to John regularly throughout the week.
Yeah.
I used to when he first started sponsoring me, I would call him every day and text him every day.
You was getting on his nerves, huh?
Well, I mean, at that time, I needed it because I needed to learn like how to reach out before I did something I wasn't supposed to do. Yeah,
that's good. That's good. And what Olaf was talking about is that you were so that's what you did. You called him a lot. I don't say like my sponsor says needy. He likes to use the word needy. And I don't want to say needy, but like people when you're early on in recovery, kind of like what you're talking about, Anthony. When you're early on in recovery, you need a little bit more time. when Olaf was working here at that time, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're starting to get ready to start working here. I think
it was interning, I think.
Yeah. So that definitely is conflict of interest. You started to learn about that. Who did your training? Who did your PRS training?
Franklin.
Franklin.
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys share a last name. Do you have any relation to Franklin?
No,
Oh,
as far as I'm aware, no.
There might be. You never know.
Yeah, you never.
That's a good point. I didn't know that they did
Nice.
share. They do share a last name.
I never
I
thought
wish Franklin was here so I could say that to him.
of that.
Anthony might have been in the motorcycle gang back in the day. Were you hardcore into stuff, Anthony, back in the day?
I mean, not gangs and that kind of stuff.
No.
Well, what was your thing when you were younger? You're still kind of young. How old are you?
21.
21.
21 Savage.
21.
So what was your thing in high school?
I dropped out of high school pretty. It was towards like my senior year was when I dropped out. But I was more of a music kid. Like I was in orchestra. I did theater, all that kind of stuff.
So you acted drama.
Yeah.
But you said music?
Cello.
Yeah, I played the
Weren't you
cello.
in the cello?
Yeah, I actually
You
still have
played
my
the
cello
cello.
up in my room at Scott
You have
House.
the cello. It's got. Well, why you ain't bring that here? That would have.
We need that.
You know what? We
He doesn't
definitely need-
practice though. That's the
Oh,
problem.
Oh yeah, I need to.
When I was the house leader at Salona, I used to tell him he's got to, if he wants to talk to me at all during the day, he's got to spend at least 30 minutes on his cello.
Which one is the cello? What is that?
It's the big one that looks like a stand-up bass kind of. It's like a violin.
Oh
sound,
yeah,
but it's just
What is it,
more-
like 3 strings?
Four.
No, it's
Four.
Yeah.
4. So
A
do
beautiful
You,
instrument.
yeah. Do you ever hit it? Do you ever like?
I mean, if I'm working an honest program, I haven't hit it in a while.
We got to change.
Is that what it's called? I don't know what it's called. What is
String
it
it.
called?
You-
String it. Do you
yeah,
ever string
you
it?
bow it.
Yeah, bow it. So you got to. Oh, it's got a.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a bow.
So it's not. With
It's
the
an orchestral
fingers.
instrument. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Man, you played that, and they had that. I guess they do have that in high school.
Yeah.
I mean, I started when I was 8 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
child prodigy?
Yeah. Dexter taught him everything he knows.
I can see that. I can see that.
But your parents made you do that?
No, I did it all on my own free will.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I'm originally from Poughkeepsie, New York, and the school district that I went to up there, Spackenkill, they're more so known for their music and performing arts program. So you were cool if you played an instrument.
Mm.
And you were cool if you were a part of the drama club.
So more like self-will, maybe a little bit.
I mean, yeah, I definitely did it because I wanted to look cool and fit in and be cool like everybody else.
You played the guitar too, didn't you?
Yeah, I
Oh.
played the electric guitar for a while
Yes,
too.
he did.
Okay.
That's how I know y'all lived in the same house together. You know pretty much. You know a lot.
Yeah.
Over there.
Well, Anthony has a great ability of talking. So,
and you have a great ability of listening.
It's a perfect
You're-
match.
yeah,
It's like-
exactly.
Like
You're-
peanut butter and chocolate.
You're a good
yeah,
listener there.
like lamb and spaghetti.
Yes.
I mean,
Good
actually,
mix.
Peanut butter and chocolate's good. Is lamb and spaghetti good? Do y'all eat that? I don't eat.
No,
I don't
it's
eat
a-
meat.
it was a- it was a joke.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to make sure I was
Like
following
lamb.
I
that
think
one.
meatballs is the common expression that go
Sometimes I guess you could. What do you eat lamb with? Just lamb.
like
Lamb is like little
kebab,
baby
maybe.
sheep, right?
Yeah, mint jelly. That's the
mutton
thing.
chops. Yeah.
Mint jelly.
Yeah, it's
But they eat it. It's a lot in like the Middle Eastern part of the world. Like Greek or Turkish or Lebanese. A lot of people lambs are like a really popular dish because they don't have as many cows or chickens and stuff like that.
It's got baby sheep.
They got a lot of lamb, yeah,
Baby sheep. It's baby sheep.
or it's goat. Sometimes they eat a lot of goat too. But
Yeah. I'm gonna go back to the instrument though. So you started at 8 years old,
yeah.
and your parents had no kind of that. You just chose to do it on your own.
I mean, of course, like once I started, my parents encouraged me to
They
continue.
supported it. That's
Yeah.
cool. Were any of them musically inclined?
No, but a lot of my cousins are. Pretty much all my cousins, they played instruments or sang or something like that.
Yeah. When did you start using drugs? Like what happened? I mean, it seemed like you were at a good high school. Wasn't a bad high school, right? Parents.
Yeah, it was one of the better ones in the state.
Yeah.
Poughkeepsie,
And
New York. Shout out to Poughkeepsie.
Poughkeepsie, New York.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Is that like a nicer? Is that suburbs? That's
I mean
suburbs,
the part that
It's
I
upstate New York. Yeah.
upstate. Okay.
yeah, I mean Poughkeepsie is pretty big, and the part that I grew up in, Spackenkill, it's one of the nicer areas. But like once you get into the city of Poughkeepsie, that's where like fentanyl and stuff is all over the place.
Anthony
I
used to
feel-
run the streets
feel
selling
like-
weed and shit down there.
the mean streets of Poughkeepsie.
Anthony, you might know this, or Olaf, you might know this. So, say the name of it again. Poughkeepsie.
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 Is that
Yeah.
native is that
Yeah.
Native American? Okay.
It's Iroquois.
Okay. It sounded like it. So is there reservations in New York?
I mean, like once you get further upstate, like towards the Catskill Mountains and stuff. Yeah.
There is.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool, man. So you went to a nice school. You know, you had both your parents were at home.
My dad worked a lot, and my mom, she's very sick and has a lot of medical issues and that kind of stuff. So she was home all the time, and she was in and out of the hospital when I was a kid growing up.
Oh, but they both raised you though.
Yeah, they both raised me
Okay.
as best they could, at least.
Yeah. So then, so you know, so not the typical stereotypical one, like when you know how society kind of stigmatizes or they have a stereotype of what an addict is, and it's usually not like from like the good family, mom and dad there, and nice school, play musical instrument, you know that. So what happened? Like, it's when did it go left for you?
I mean, it went left for me because like a lot of there was a lot of stuff going on when I was a kid growing up with me, like with my mom being in and out of the hospital and my dad having to work a whole lot to be able to support us.
Yeah, Anthony, your mom suffered from substance use disorder too.
Yeah, my mom's in recovery as well. She's got 33 years.
Oh wow,
Congratulations.
And my grandfather on my mom's side, he died with like over 50 years. But anyways, I had a lot of like unchecked mental health stuff going on when I was a kid, and also like being a transgender person and pretty much being forced in the closet my entire childhood. That didn't help. So then once I like got to middle school, I started hanging out with the kids who were smoking weed and drinking, and it just kind of took off from there until eventually I became like the only kid. And when I talked to my old guidance counselor a few weeks ago, he told me that I was the last kid that ever brought any like hard drugs like coke or anything like that into my high school.
Oh really?
Yeah.
When was like, how old were you when the first time that you used?
I was about 11.
Really?
You were doing coke at 11 years old?
Well, not coke. I was drinking
wow.
and smoking weed then.
Okay.
So it's first time
just occasionally.
First time you started drinking, smoking weed 11. When did because you said you trans as growing up. When did that wasn't as grown? Like when did you?
No.
When did you get all that? And I don't want to. You tell me.
I mean, I came out when I was about like 11. When I was about like 11, 12 years old, but I didn't start like medically transitioning and stuff until I was like 14.
So the coming out piece to the parents, how was that? Were they accepting?
I mean, everybody else in my family was pretty much telling me that they knew that it was coming, including like my grandparents.
Your grandfather was a big part in you feeling comfortable to come out, right?
Yeah, he was.
Oh, he was very accepting of it.
Yeah.
Do you have siblings?
I have a younger sister. We're a little over a year apart.
Okay, so she's 20 now, then, right? You're 21.
Yeah.
Okay. How was it? How was that with her?
I mean, she was one of the people who was saying that she knew it was coming. Because I mean, I started looking like a little boy when I was like about like 5 or 6 years old.
Mm-hmm. So your family was pretty supportive, but you still, because you said, you just kind of following the substance use piece. You said that you had to. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but like you couldn't fully come out. You had in high school, did you have to like?
I mean, it was more so like my mom. It took her a while to be able to come around to it and accept it herself. Like,
so like just didn't want to. You were just a little scared with her.
I mean, I came out to her, but she just wasn't.
Accept it?
Yeah, she just didn't accept it immediately.
Yeah,
it took her like almost a year to like finally begin the process of fully accepting me for who I was, because she still was kind of like under the like the delusion that I was going to eventually change my mind and that I was just gonna like eventually
grow out of it.
Yeah, I was gonna grow out of it, go back to being a girl, but she didn't understand that just wasn't gonna happen because I never really was a girl from the beginning.
Mm-hmm. So when did the drugs, you were using weed, alcohol at 11, but that was just kind of just recreational fitting in. Like when did it start to just talk a little bit about that? And then I want to get into like, what you're doing now, because you're just doing some good stuff, man. But
I mean, it became a daily thing, like with with alcohol and that kind of stuff when like towards the end of middle school when I was like about 12 or 13. And then like the harder stuff came into the mix at like my freshman year of high school when I started hanging out with the kids that had like psychedelics and pills and stuff. And then when I was 15, that was when like coke got into the mix. And by the time I was 17, my parents were trying to get me clean off coke and fentanyl.
Do you think that because you were going through the trends sort of coming out that you wanted to be accepted more by your friends, and that's why the drugs was more like something that you wanted to get into, more attractive maybe?
Yeah, I mean that definitely played a role into it because a lot of the other kids who were like who are part of like the LGBT clubs and stuff, they were smoking weed and drinking all the time. So I was trying to fit in with them, and then once like I got to theater club or drama club in high school, they were all like perpetually stoned.
And that was in New York.
Yeah.
So they had LGBTQ plus clubs in high school there.
Yeah, and in middle school there too.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, they're a little bit more. I don't know.
Progressive.
Is it the word? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the school district that I came to is like that I went to in New York. They're primarily all extremely liberal.
Yeah. So then, what? How'd you end up down here in Virginia?
My dad pretty much got a job offer out in Elkton, so we moved to the Greene County area, and I hated it there.
Did you have to go to high school there?
Yeah.
It sounds like a cunt. I don't want to say nothing bad, but like,
I mean, it was definitely
sounds like they definitely a place where they probably weren't too friendly to
a big transition, right?
Yeah.
From upstate New York. Yeah.
Yeah.
Elkton.
I mean,
Elkton. Do y'all know Elkton?
We just lost our Elkton viewer.
Sorry.
Come back. Please come back.
But I bet that was tough. So coming from New York, like you said, very liberal, very, very progressive in the school system. Virginia, definitely school system is not like that. And then you're out in kind of the more of the.
Yeah, I mean, I went to the high school that I went to was in Standardsville.
I ain't even ever heard of that. Standardsville.
Yeah, it's in Greene County. It was William Monroe High School.
Okay, so it was tough then, huh?
Yeah, I mean those kids there, and like even a lot of the teachers in the administration, they just like they didn't have the knowledge or anything on how to handle like my situation, not just with me being trans, but also like at that point, that was when I finally like got diagnosed with ADHD and stuff, and was starting therapy and all that to actually try to get on the right track.
Would you get in fights, Anthony? Like,
I mean,
if so, would you fight like the girls or the guys? Like, which one were you?
I mean, I would get into fights primarily with guys.
You beat them up.
I mean, I would try to.
You got some good hands.
You would get in fights with guys in the school.
Oh yeah.
What were they like trying to pick on you?
Yeah, pretty much.
Did you lay them out?
I mean, I would try
Like,
my best to.
Maybe like the shoulder,
with the cello. That's what I'm picturing.
or you and Dexter could.
Well,
kind of team 'em up.
I believe out there in Elkton, they didn't have no cello playing out there.
Oh yeah, I mean, I ended up having to.
Probably not.
I ended up having to stop orchestra because they didn't have an orchestra.
Yeah, they didn't have no orchestra out there.
And I did like 1 year of drama club out there, and I was just like, oh hell no.
No LGBTQ people in the drama.
I mean,
I'm surprised they had a drama club.
I mean, there were some LGBT kids in the drama club, but it was just nothing like.
Yeah.
It was nothing like my high school in New York, because like my freshman year of high school, we did Les Mis, and then my sophomore year of high school, I go to Greene County, and they're doing Cinderella.
Annie, get your gun or something like that, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So that's good. So you came down here. Dad took a job. When did you know alcohol and drugs had became a problem for you?
I mean, I was kind of like one of the rare people who like I knew from the get-go that I was going to have a problem, because the first time like I actually like got high, I knew that I liked it way too much for it to be normal.
You loved it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of immediately off to the races. But
Well, when did you know that it had became a problem? So you knew that you loved it, but so like I know the first time I shot some heroin, I was like, man, this is heaven.
Yeah.
So I know that feeling, but like I didn't think that. I still thought I could manage it. I still thought like I could control it. So when did it get to the point where like, man, I can't control this anymore. I need to get some help.
I mean, once I realized I needed to get some help was when I was
When Dexter told you this, it's been too much.
You don't stop with damn Dexter. Everybody out here is going. Everybody listening, like, who the hell's Dexter? I need to know who Dexter is. Do we want to address Dexter, Anthony? Do you want to address Dexter?
I mean, Dexter was pretty much my emotional support stuffed toy dinosaur when I first got clean. I've only had him for like 3 years now, so.
Okay. And Dexter has slowly been put.
Yeah, slowly I stopped carrying him around with me everywhere, and now he just hangs out in my room. It's just a reminder of my growth.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. So when next time he says Dexter, say, look, I don't need Dexter. I put Dexter. Dexter's at home, right? Dexter's at home, man. But you know, I mean, it's good because like you, Anthony, and talking about Dexter and talking about your
growth,
your substance use and your growth and your mental health and just everything, like it's almost like you think about if you watch movies, like, you know, what your life, you know, and having an emotional support, you know, doll, like you actually, I mean, you did it. You lived this and you did this, right? You know, so it's true. So people do have, and I'm pretty sure. I think you told me a therapist told you to do that. What, your therapist, or was it?
Shout out to Adam.
Yeah, I mean, my therapist and my counselor from New York they both were just like, this is probably better for you than getting high and drunk all the time.
I agree, man. If you got to carry around, dang on Dexter, so you don't get high, I'm with you on that, right?
Yeah,
somebody would have told me that.
You should hand them out when you
after
get into
McShin
McShin.
Ended up in prison.
Little mini Dexters come with your little pack when you sign in for intake. We all
at where he's at now.
No, you're right here. I'm saying,
well,
if it worked, you know,
Yep.
it worked for Anthony. It could work for someone else.
Yeah, but I mean, like, when back to like what you were saying about like when I realized I had a problem, like I realized that I had a serious problem because when I was 18, my mom kicked me out of her apartment and I started like calling around to different places. And I actually, when I was going through my voicemails, I found one from like 2021 from Joyce because I had called up here, but I ended up going to the LGBT house and I kept getting high there. So I ended up going back and moving in with my dad, but then he kicked me out. So I lived out of a trap motel for like about 9 months. Like my coke guy was like in the room right above me.
Which trap? I'm just curious. You know,
it was in Ruckersville in Greene County, Virginia. I think it was the Trail Motel.
Ruckersville,
yeah,
has trap hotels.
Yeah,
probably just one.
Yeah, there's really just one.
That's probably all they got
on the outskirts of town.
I've heard of Ruckersville now. I've been out there doing some outreach.
But
so you were in the hotel, and then so then what happened?
So then I went to like a youth like crisis home, and I kept getting high there. I OD'd a few times while I was there too, and the last time that I OD'd, I had a really bad seizure that. Like,
damn, you overdosed, Anthony. Off of what? Off of what'd you overdose on?
Weed.
No. You're over there, man. Stop, man.
I was at the point where like.
Wait, hold on. It was weed?
No, it was coke.
Okay, all right.
It was coke that was cut with fentanyl, but I had no idea it was cut with fentanyl though.
You know, one time I smoked so much weed I threw up. Any of y'all ever did that before?
Yes, that's.
I feel like that's overdosing off of weed.
Yeah, it's horribly unpleasant.
I mean,
really bad.
One time I was smoking weed, right, and Travis was sitting next to me, and I was like, "Man, I think I'm gonna throw up." And that fool took his hand and said, "Bow!" right in my belly, and I just threw up everywhere. I was so mad at him, man. I was ready to kill him, man.
I can totally see that.
Yeah, I can see that too.
He definitely did it.
They actually in the stoner
funny.
The stoner community, they call that greening out.
So it's kind of like overdose.
Yeah,
right.
Kind of
greening out.
Yeah,
you smoke so much weed you throw up.
Yeah.
Now the weed nowadays you just don't know what you're getting.
Yeah,
right? It could be laced with fentanyl and it's all so strong, right?
It's not like some synthetic weed that's like
that Tunchi.
Yeah,
like when that hit the yard in prison, you see the code blue. You know,
you got all these crazy names for it.
Yeah, all these different codes for when that fake weed would hit the yard.
Oh, boy.
People would be like coming out on seizures and stuff. Like, well, man, let me get some of that.
That looks like.
Isn't that crazy how this disease works though? Right? You see somebody like having a seizure and you're like, oh man, let me get some of that. I need some of that stuff.
$5 of the cap.
Yeah. Like when somebody overdoses off something, they're like, "Oh man, where'd they get that from? I need to get some of that."
It's always been like that with drugs. Like it was like that with heroin back in the day. If I knew someone had that dope that killed somebody, I'm like, that's the person.
I got to find that one. Right?
It doesn't make any sense in recovery. You're like, how does that make sense?
That's the mark of quality. Right?
That's right. Yeah.
You overdosed. You did a little bit too much coke and fentanyl laced in there, and so did the ambulance have to come?
Yeah, the first couple of times, like I just flat out refused to go to the emergency room. But the last time when I had
Thugged
that,
it out.
You're one of those guys.
yeah, the last time when I had that seizure, I ended up going to the emergency room because my girlfriend at the time, she was just way too concerned about what was going on.
Hold on. Okay.
What's her name?
Yeah, because I ain't seen you. I seen you boot. What was her name?
Shout her out.
Because I ain't seen you boot up since the past couple years.
Her name was Dakota.
That's right.
Was that before you came here? Was Dakota your girlfriend when you were here?
Yeah, when I first got here, but then right around the time that Olaf moved into Salona and came to McShin, I ended up
He
breaking
stole
up with
her.
her.
No.
Nah.
That was somebody
He's
else.
a little player over there. I know
Definitely
Olaf.
someone else. But no, Dakota, I remember she tried to reach out to you once you got better, right?
Yeah.
You got clean.
You
She
ain't
wanted-
fall for it. You said, nah.
I didn't.
That's what I'm.
Yeah, because I was like, let me talk to this woman. I want to make sure this person's real right here. And she was. That was.
Olaf, you got some shit with you, man.
Well, I mean,
he's not wrong.
Hold on.
I look at
What do you
Anthony.
mean,
I look-
Anthony, did you check to make sure his were real? Ask hey, Anthony, who's Olaf's sponsor, man? Does he go to meetings, man? What's he doing for his recovery, man?
We're turning
Shout
the
out
table.
to John Shinholzer right here.
You need him to sponsor you too, man. Call John up. We got a nice sponsor for him.
Daddy, he needs some help.
Yes, he does, man. And you wearing them shoes. I just noticed that. Do you wear the same shoes John wears?
That's
you got
right.
them?
The dudes.
Look,
man.
I'm glad you haven't transitioned to the hate
We need
dudes, Anthony. You still got the Air Maxes like me. That's
Those
what
are
I'm
called
talking
Hey
about.
Johns from now on.
Hey Johns, yeah. Should get the sponsorship. Hey dudes, let them know.
So we run out of time, but I want to get you overdose, right? How'd you end up? So what'd you do, man? How'd you end up over here at McShin?
Well, pretty much like the youth crisis organization I was at, they kicked me out and told me I needed to go to rehab.
Everybody
So,
was kicking you out.
yeah, so I ended up coming here, and for whatever reason, like being here is like the first time that I've ever been at a recovery house where I didn't feel like I needed to get high.
Mm.
Like something just kind of went off in me, like during my time, like in my program and stuff here, where I
You
realized
felt the
like,
love.
yeah, exactly. Like I realized like I don't need to use anymore. Like I don't need to be that person that's getting high in a recovery house anymore.
Mhm.
I don't need to just run off and run away somewhere. Like I knew that I was home when I was here.
Yeah. Okay. So that's good. You knew you were home, so you felt comfortable here.
Yeah.
Is that safe to say?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I know. You and I have definitely talked throughout the past couple years since you've been here, and it's good to see your growth. And I know you had some ups and downs here. You had some times where, there was some instances where you were like, man, I don't know, that kind of thing.
He internship under you, didn't he?
That was my main intern
That's
right
right.
there.
That's
Did
the
that.
main
To
one.
keep him in line. I still got to keep him in line every now and then.
That's right.
Because he'll get a little trigger happy with those consequences.
Yeah.
He'll hold people in check.
He can write essays like
An
no
iron
other.
fist.
Tell you what.
Yeah, I would
Chat
see, but see, Anthony, you got that iron fist, but that's how I am too, man. So that's why we're always here, man. I like it, man. But sometimes we got to have people to help check us because our empathy will go out the door when we're in those positions, right? We'll forget like, oh, dang, I did the same things. So it's almost like my sponsor used to tell me, just don't be self-righteous, right? And what he meant, and I always thought that was like a bad term. It's bad, but it's not as, basically it's, look, don't forget where you came from. Like, you did the same stuff and when you were in those places. So, that's what I would give you, man, because you're still in a leadership role, right? You're still house leader, and that's just only a minimum, like a little small thing of what you're doing, because you landed a job, and I'm pretty sure your place is cool with us shouting them out, but you landed a job over at Master Centers,
Yep.
right? You've been there for what, almost a year, over a year now?
No, I've been there for about 5 months now.
5 months?
Almost 6 months.
6
yeah.
months? Heck yeah. What's the longest you've had a
Registered.
job?
The longest that I had a job,
Cracker Barrel.
Cracker Barrel, yeah, because I still do that part time. I just pick up now.
You still doing Cracker Barrel part-time?
He's getting that money right
Yeah.
now.
Worker.
I
He's-
remember
he's
when you were
trying to work.
struggling over there too, man, and they was giving you giving you fits.
Monies.
And now you over there doing part-time.
Yeah, I only have to pick up one shift a month, and then I'm all good.
You saving up to get a car. You didn't get a car yet, or you got a car?
No, I got a car.
He's got a Subaru. Why'd you buy a Subaru, Anthony?
I mean, it was just it was the best car that was on the lot.
You ain't got to explain nothing to Olaf over there. Ask him what he's driving.
I mean, he's driving Kodak Black.
That's right. Shout out to Kodak right there.
That's right.
So you got the McShin, and on a serious note, Anthony, because you got here, and I'm serious. This is a serious question, like, and I just want the truth, because you have it's a lot. You have a lot happened to you at a young age, as far as like coming into your own. Coming out to your family, moving from one place where you were accepted, and then coming down to another place, and then getting really heavy into drugs. When you got here, because you answered earlier, but did you really feel comfortable here? Like, because you're still here, and there's no no wrong answer, and you're not gonna get in trouble at all.
You won't be stepped down if you don't say it the right way.
But I asked this because you just you're a shining light for some people out there, man. How is if McShin is very comfortable for you in home, like what made it so comfortable and homely for you?
I mean, for me, it was more so just like the fact that I genuinely felt like everybody here did love and care about me, as opposed to like other places that I had been at. Like I had
very cool.
Like I had been at one, I was at one RCO where they put me in a woman's house when I was like 19 years old and had like just came right out of detox. And for me, like I felt very like ostracized, and I didn't feel like I was being treated like a human being.
Yeah.
But when I came here, I actually felt like I was home. Like I still remember a little bit of my intake, because I remember like Cricket and Nathan brought me into your office to try to figure out like if I was going to go to a men's or a woman's house, and I remember you telling me that that if I ever had a problem, I could go right to you, and that you weren't going to let any of that kind of stuff happen.
It's cool.
You helped write some policies here too.
I was going to say that. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You definitely like helped spearhead our just us. You helped educate us, McShin as a whole. I remember you were pre-admin. You put that was a long policy you wrote on. Did you ever see that one? It's like a 4-pager he put on my desk. So, man, you expect me to read this? It was good though. You definitely
shout
helped.
out to ChatGPT.
I don't think ChatGPT was around then, man. Was it?
Yeah,
it was. Did you use ChatGPT for that
No,
4-pager you gave me?
No,
I feel like all people his age use Chat.
I think
for everything.
Olaf, they used to definitely blame Anthony. They used to say, because you definitely used to get a lot of writing assignments, and they would be like, man, he's not writing these, y'all. He's ChatGPT. That's what they used to tell me. I'm like, I don't care, man. But make them handwrite. He used to computer type it.
Yeah, that 8,000 word essay that I wrote the first time around, I used ChatGPT for.
Come on,
So
he was
dang it, Anthony, man. I was
honesty.
thinking you came up with this on your own.
Shout out to
man.
John Shinholzer, the sponsor, teaching him honesty. That's good.
Yeah, and Franklin was the one who called me out for it, and then I ended up having to handwrite it, and David made me sit in front of the camera at Scott House to handwrite it.
The goat, David Mullins.
Yeah, to make sure that I wasn't like using ChatGPT.
He's another day on hammer. David Mullins. He said, "Look, are you gonna sit in front of this camera right there?"
Yeah.
No water.
Talking about the little pit bulls.
You're gonna smoke this whole pack of cigarettes right here, right now, if you want to quit. That's that old school. Grandma taught him that.
Exactly.
Drink this whole bottle of Scotch liquor right here.
That'll teach you.
Yeah.
That's honestly one of the things that I love about like being the house leader over at Scott House, is that like pretty much a year to the date when I moved over there as house leader, I was moved over there on contract a year prior to that. And I actually, one day when I was doing the fire safety checklist at the house, I came across the old one that I had signed when I was put on contract. And that's one of the things that like constantly.
What do you mean? Why'd you sign it?
No, because I was over there on contract a year ago, and it was still like on the clipboard somehow.
Is that why you got Scott tattooed on your back?
Scott out.
You ain't getting
No, I have
whose
no
house? You're definitely doing your thing though. So look, so you you comfortable here, you feel loved here, and I'm glad that makes me feel good. as a team that you got that here. You weren't able to land a job here as much as you tried, right? But
Still
like
trying.
God had better plans for you, man. You got a job over at Master Centers. Tell us about that.
I mean, there it's like it's more of a clinical setting as opposed to like what this is, where it's all peer to peer. But I pretty much I coach for one of the nurse practitioners there, and I have like a caseload of patients that I work with, and reach out to them.
Hold on. You got a caseload of patients that you work with, Anthony, man. Like you gotta say, man, sometimes I have to say things that I do because I don't really grasp like what I'm doing in my life, man. I'm a 12-time felon, been to prison, all that stuff, right? So I got to repeat stuff in my life, man. And I just know you and what you've been through, man. You got a caseload of patients that you see in recovery coach.
He's helped a lot of people at McShin like over the last 5 months that he's been there. Like I know Travis will just tell him to call Anthony or give him Anthony's card.
Well, Anthony made sure we had those damn cards when he got them.
Oh yeah, every single office. I've got a box of them.
I've got one right here.
He put them right on my desk and laugh.
Yeah, it's a little flex move right there.
Yeah.
You got the Dexter cards. They're smaller.
They're small.
a little tiny.
a little fuzzy.
Yeah.
So you got a caseload that you're working with, man. How does that go? How is that?
I mean, like how Master Center is set up is that every time somebody comes in for an appointment, which we primarily do MAT, like naltrexone, Vivitrol, Suboxone, Sublocade, that kind of stuff. But we also do have like psychiatrists and stuff as well, and we do prescribe like psychiatric medication, and we also do like what we just call sustained recovery, which is like we might write you a script for gabapentin, but you're just coming for accountability since you're not in an environment like a recovery house or something.
So it's like IOP kind of.
Yeah, just kind of like that. But every time, like,
you don't do no IOP there. Y'all don't have groups. Y'all do have groups there.
Yeah, we have our own. We also have our own groups. Like all the patients are mandated to go to one group a week
inside the building there.
They're pretty much all over Zoom.
Oh, they do their Zoom too, huh?
Yeah, so they just hop into like a Zoom group once a week, and that's one of their requirements is for them to do that in order for them to.
What do you feel? And Master Centers is a great place, man. So shout out to Master Centers. The guy that actually, the doctor, he was here.
Yeah, Dr. Thompson. Yeah, he started his practice on this floor, the third floor.
Yeah, awesome guy. I met him. Some
John Schinholzer.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I think shout out to John Schinholzer. He might have. Never mind. I love Master Centers, man, and they're great. But what is your thoughts, Anthony, on the Zoom platform? And the only reason why I ask this, man, is I feel like for me, it's really hard for me to twofolds as any type of instruction that I've done on Zoom. So like I've done trainings on Zoom, and it is brutal. It is so hard from a teaching standpoint, right?
It's hard from a learning standpoint.
Yeah, and too. So like I gotta only imagine from like a learning standpoint how hard it could be.
I mean, that was actually why I dropped out of high school, was because when COVID hit, all the classes became Zoom classes, and I figured out that if I turned off the camera, I could sniff a line real quick and then hop back in class.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So I ended up pretty much just dropping out because I was like, nah, I'd rather pursue getting high full time instead of going to school.
Yeah, connection on Zoom is just hard, man. It's hard, man. I just ask because you say most of y'all's are through Zoom, man. That's just got to be tough, man. It's got to be tough for the instructor, tough for the patients is what you call them.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, we do have a few in-person groups, and they're slowly starting to bring that back. Because all the groups used to be in person, but then like when COVID hit, they transitioned to Zoom, and it's become it is a lot easier for some of the patients to actually attend group,
or get credit
through Zoom.
For it.
Yeah, to be able, yeah. I mean, we make them keep the camera on the whole time and that kind of stuff, so that we know that they're actually there.
That's that David Mullins effect.
Right? Yeah,
keep that camera on them. Nice. So you do that. You do some coaching and
yeah, I mean, every time the patients come in for an appointment, they meet with the coach for about 15 minutes, and then they meet with the nurse practitioner, doctor, or physician's assistant for about 15 minutes too.
Heck yeah, man.
So
doing your thing. We would like to pause and take a quick second to shout out our sponsors. We wouldn't be here without our sponsors, so we're very grateful for those that have sponsored the podcast. The McShin Foundation's Getting Her podcast would not be here without our sponsors, our beautiful sponsors. So first, we'd like to say thank you to Avenues Treatment Center. If you are looking for treatment, they have mental health and substance use, primarily substance use disorders, but they will help with mental health as well. They do have detox. Give them a call, 804-638-7329, and you can ask for Kelly Eason. Reach out to Avenues Treatment Center. And up next is New Growth Behavior Health. New Growth Behavior Health is located here in Richmond, Virginia. They are a local treatment center. Please give them a call, 804-250-6028. We would not be here without our sponsors. They help with substance use disorders. Please give them a call at 804-250-6028. That's New Growth Behavior Health. Thank you, New Growth Behavior Health. And if you're looking for any services, give them a call. They do take insurance. And we also would like to give a special thanks to our sponsor, Align Community and Treatment Services. They are another local treatment services for substance use disorder here in the Richmond, Virginia. Please give them a call if you're looking for some services. There's a wide variety of options here in the Richmond area. So you're very, very fortunate if you are suffering from substance use disorder. So give Align Community and Treatment Services a call. They also take insurance, 804-214-6460. So if you're looking for any help, any services to help with addiction, to help with mental health, give our sponsors a call. All of them work hand in hand with helping individuals with substance use disorder and individuals with mental health disorders. Once again, that's Avenues Treatment Center, 804-638-7329. New Growth Behavior Health, 804-250-6028. And Align Community and Treatment Services, 804-214-6460. We're going to thank you to our sponsors out there. And now back to our program. You listen, and I feel like over the past 2 years, you've listened and you've took some stuff in, and the stuff that you didn't feel was relevant, you just let it fly, and now you're doing your thing, man. CPRS, you're registered, right? You're
I'm registered certified now.
Registered certified peer recovery specialist working in the clinical environment, man. That's really cool, man. Congratulations, really, Anthony. I mean that, man. It's awesome to see that at a young age too, man. 21 years old.
21. It's
impressive.
That's one of
It's impressive.
It is, man. It's very impressive, man. Don't stop, man.
Yeah, keep growing.
Yeah.
Anthony, I got a question. I know how much the house leadership meant to you before you got it. Is it all that it's cracked out to be, you think?
I mean,
what does that help you learn so far, like in your growth and your journey?
I mean, I'd say one of the things that it does for me on a daily basis is it reminds me of where I came from, especially being at Scott House, with it being the transitional house, and me having a lot of what David Mullins calls knuckleheads.
Shout out to GOAT.
Shout out to Knucklehead.
But but I mean, it reminds me so much, like every day, of like I started out here and now I'm giving back what was so freely given to me by, not just sitting down and having conversations with those guys and that kind of stuff, but it also helps keep me in my program, because I know that a lot of those guys are watching me and what I do,
Looking up to you.
Yeah, and looking up to me, and they, expect to see me at my home group every Tuesday. They expect me to talk to my sponsor regularly and do my step work and all that kind of stuff,
Do you sponsor anybody yourself?
No, I don't sponsor anybody myself currently.
But you're able to sponsor, right? You've gone through the steps.
Yeah.
Nice.
As we're getting ready to end, but as as a house leader, the house leader note, is there anything that you feel like you should be working on? Everything that as being the house leader, has anything come like to fruition with you, like, oh man, I need to work on this better, or I need to do this better?
Well, that's actually what Olav and I were talking about last week, and still into this week, is my biggest struggle right now is learning to set that boundary with the guys of, I can't be your friend and your house leader. Like, it's got to be one or the other. If you want me to be your friend, then, you can move to another house. But
I feel like,
but I'll still be friendly with the guys, crack jokes with them, and be nice to them. But for me, like, I know that I need to set that boundary with them, that there's a time and a place for me to crack jokes with you, and there's a time and a place for us to be serious.
Yeah. Okay.
Just so we're clear, I didn't say to him, you should tell him to move houses. We were talking about saying no.
Yeah. Well, I like that. I mean, I was just gonna say, what you said is being friendly. Like I feel like you can be a house leader and be friendly to your house,
but you just
but the
can't be
boundary
like,
of being like best friends with them, I think that's good. I mean, so that you need to work on that. And that reminds me, because I remember not too long ago there was some stuff that had happened in the house, and some, I think you were joking, and somebody else was joking.
Big Daddy.
Somebody took it the wrong way, right? Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
Sounds
you
like
said,
Con Shinho's,
right?
It does,
Wasn't
doesn't
it?
it?
Was Grant? He said you told somebody I'm Big Daddy around here.
That's what John calls himself, isn't it?
yeah, it is.
So you went back up in the house and you're like, I'm Big Daddy around here. Y'all gotta listen to what I say. And somebody came and they took that as serious, and you were like, oh, I was just joking. Was that kind of what happened?
Pretty much.
That is Big Daddy right there.
But I just, when they told me this, Anthony, and I love you to death, right? But when they told me this, I was like, man, if Anthony told me that and I was in the house, man, I would know it's a joke. Like I would be laughing. Like I would have been laughing with you, right?
Yeah.
But they got mad. They were like, man, heck no, man.
That was maybe your drug dealer name, wasn't it? You had those big bags of dope, right? Those
Big baggy.
$20 a bag from Big Daddy.
Well, look, man, what you got for us, Anthony? Any parting words for anybody out there listening to us? Any little hope shot you want to drop before we get off here?
I mean, I guess that the biggest hope shot that I have for people is that it doesn't matter how old you are or who you are, where you came from, you can find recovery and stick with it.
Okay. Good stuff, man. You can do it, man, no matter who you are. That's right, man. What about you, Olaf? Anything?
I mean, when I think about Anthony's story and what we've gone through together, I think it reminds me in my own sort of journey that, I need to be less worried about the results, like the outcome of situations, and just handling everything I can take care of in this moment and not worrying so much about the outcome, but just handle the stuff that I can deal with, and that's what when I look at your story and I've seen you grow so much, Anthony, that's what you've done over these last year and a half, is that once you stop really worrying about being the house leader, that you started just handling your business, and then all of a sudden that's what happened. It fell into your lap, so that's you've and I know we joked around a lot today. Obviously me and Anthony have a very special relationship, and we're really close, so I joke around with him a lot, but you've helped me a lot in my journey, for real. Like it's really helped me a lot grow, because I don't even know how that could put into words, but when I first came here to Salona, we got really close and we spent a lot of time together. So that's how I got to know you so well. And it's been really a pleasure to see you continue to grow and shine. And so, best of luck to you. And I believe in you, Anthony, for real.
Yeah, there we go. Good stuff, y'all. Good stuff, man. Not responsible for the outcome, but the effort, man. And you definitely have put forth the effort, Anthony. We will never say that you haven't done that, man. Keep doing it, man. All right, everybody. Thank y'all. Peace.
Thanks, Anthony.
Peace.
Thank you, Anthony.